This is Professor Seisel, and I just wanted to go over the Essay 2 requirements for the end of the semester. This is very similar in structure to the first essay that you did. Grading will be much the same. Criteria. So, brass tacks, you need to have 3 to 4 pages, not counting your bibliography. They'll be evaluated based on your demonstration of mastery of the course material. So what I'm really interested in is that you bring the course material, the arguments the authors we've read are making about how to understand the world, and advocate for your own perspective. Given what these various people have said, how do you see the world functioning? And you're going to do that through one of these 3 prompts that I've given you below. Now, please make sure that you include a works cited page and that you cite your work using APA style in the content of the paper. You do not need a cover page or an abstract. Those formalities for APA are not necessary for this assignment, but I do take citation practices very seriously. And so if there is a citation that you're using in the text, please include the page number and the year. If it's from the course, if you got it from Titanium and you don't know the author from how the PDF was copied, you can simply cite the title of the PDF or the author as it is and the PDF page numbers. Please, when you turn in your paper, provide a 1 to 3 sentence thesis or argument, right? So this is the sort of statement that you have about what your insight is into entertainment and society, and you're going to underline that in the first or second paragraph of your essay. So, for the first option, we're talking about consumer culture, and we talk about it broadly because we live within consumer culture. And so starting off from McChesney's discussion of hyper-commercialism and Naomi Klein's work in No Logo, thinking about what the social implications are, I want you to think about branding as a social process. And so think about choose a brand and think about how it promotes itself. You're going to answer these 3 questions here. Specifically, right? What values does the brand embody? How does it relate to what Klein and Kara and Lowe say about brands? And how does branding make purchasing goods and services seem meaningful, right? And Sue Jolly talks a lot about how advertising sort of steps in to pretend as if commodities can fulfill social roles, make us feel less lonely, make us prettier, make us happier, things like that. Now, in this essay, I also want you, while you're choosing your brand, to think about culture jamming. And so how do we speak back to brand culture? And so I want you to find an example of a critique of your brand or of consumer culture, and think about how it critiques it. And so if I'd chosen a Jeep or a SUV as my brand, I might think about this image here, which critiques SUVs and trucks, right? So we're thinking about nature and outdoor activities, but these are huge gas guzzlers. They're very bad for the environment. And so there's a contradiction in how we are being the imagery that's used and the realities of what these products are. Similarly, if I was looking at an advertisement or a brand that simply emphasized shopping or consumption or lifestyle, this image of I shop, therefore I am might be useful in discussing the way consumption sort of factors into our daily existence. For the second option, I want you to think about, this is a way, if you're really interested in digital technology and political engagement, if the use of the Twitter during the Arab Spring, various hashtag movements, or how social movements use social media to gain traction, this is an option that's going to let you explore that a bit more. And so I want you to think here about how did social media and digital technology alter how we organize our public lives. And so you could think about GPS systems, you could think about collective action, and also then think about it as a means of political engagement. And so I've given you a list of some prominent social movements that are known by their hashtags. If there's other ones you're aware of and want to investigate, you are more than welcome to. And so choose one specific example to support your argument. And so you're going to come up with something that you're saying broadly based upon the readings and then illustrate it through an example of an actual movement that's happening in real life right now or in the recent past. Third option, So if you were really interested in how audiences operate and how we commodify audience engagement, we could take Generation Like as the starting point and think about how we're both empowered to create our own media and interact with culture, but we also are still consumers and in some ways, as Generation Like points out, being manipulated. And so, thinking about Generation Like and producers listening to the audiences, we also have Black Mirror's dystopian future, right? And so, where being liked and being accessible through media is necessary for jobs, apartments, and even getting a taxi. And so, think about the boundaries between public and private lives and thinking about that sort of control, right? So, when are we in public? When are we in private? What is privacy like underneath these new social relationships? And so, think about how digital media either contributes to the extension of brand culture and how like kind of we are encouraged to brand ourselves and our lives through the use of social media, and if these technologies are empowering, and if they are, then in what ways? And so be sure to be specific. One of the central mistakes students make is often not being specific enough or precise enough in their language. And some of you probably noticed that in my comments to your essays from the first half of the semester. And so I've given you ideas about the readings that are useful, or that I think will guide you in the right direction in thinking about commodity audiences and digital surveillance and engagement. And so those are your three options. I organize the class this way so that you can choose to pursue in greater depth thinking about one of these areas. You can then choose what's most compelling for you. And so, in sum, I want to thank you guys for a great semester. It's been a real pleasure to read all of your responses and follow along as you go through the class material. And I hope that you enjoyed the semester and the material as much as I have enjoyed sharing it with you. And enjoy the summer. I look forward to reading your essays.